Hey, welcome to Join the Adventure with Scott Batch. Today I'm doing episode 2 of my own Better Brain Health Challenge that I've got going for 20 weeks. 20 weeks of eating better, getting better sleep, getting more hydration, nutrition, mindset, all kinds of things. It all happened after I listened to a lecture by Dr. Daniel Amen about how much those things I just mentioned affect our brain health, and how much fixing those things helps us have a better brain. And then the side effect is that we can have much lower anxiety and much more clarity when we think. So when I went to his lecture and then his course that my church put on, Saddleback Church, it's 5 weeks. We just talked about all these supplements we could be taking, how we could be vitamin deficient and all kinds of things. One of the big ones, vitamin D, not enough sun, not getting outside enough, vitamin B and ginkgo, and just there's a whole list of them. So I thought, hey, I should start trying this out to see how it works, because I've been on for the last 3 years. I've been on this continual self-improvement kind of mindset that I did while I was on my U.S. bicycle tour. So it's just like every day fixing myself. And then all of a sudden Dr. Amen comes along and it's like, oh, you're just getting started. There's all this stuff you can do. And so I started by kicking all these things out of my diet. And so what I'll talk about today is decreasing caffeine, and then also sugar in the form of donuts, cake, and carbs. And so, which a lot of times I was getting my carbs through tortillas and bread. So here's what I did, and I'll tell you how it affected me in week 2. Today, I don't know if I'll have much space I have on my camera, but I'm going to try and film a bunch today because my leg hurts from the crashing at the track. You can see that in this other episode. I'm taking a motorcycle safety course. But so I started decreasing the caffeine in week 1 of my own challenge. And the way that I did that is that I found out that there's a pretty tasty decaffeinated coffee at Whole Foods that uses the Swedish water method, I think it's called. And what that means is that they use water pressure to push down on the beans, and when they do that, it pushes the caffeine out of the beans naturally. So it gets down the caffeine content down to like 1%. Which is far more better for me than what I was drinking. I love the taste of coffee, and I'll tell you why I even like it more now. So I started drinking it when I was in the military in order to stay awake on watch. In fact, I hated black coffee. I still hate the taste of black coffee, but I really like the taste of coffee with a lot of creamer in it, or milk. So I used to drink milk. But that changed too, and not for the reasons that you think. So I go to listen to Dr. Amen. I find out about the decaf coffee, and what I started doing is, since I had some, I didn't want to just throw it in the trash. So I bought the decaf coffee. Let's say there was 4 scoops. The first week, what I did is I'd put like 3 scoops of decaf in, and then I'd put like 3 scoops of regular and then 1 scoop of decaf. So I'm cutting it down 25%, right? So I did that for a week. Next week, I'd cut it down, 2 scoops of caffeine, 2 scoops of decaffeinated coffee, and then did that again, and then just kept on doing that. Get down to cut down 75%. And then I stayed at that 75% decaf until I'd used up all the coffee, and then it was time. It was time to go straight decaf. Okay, while I was learning about decaf, I also learned about bulletproof coffee, which traditionally is like a pat of butter and some good MCT oil. And MCT oil is like this, it is this coconut oil that they just take out this certain part. Like, let's say you got a container of it. There's gonna be like a certain part of it that is like really good for you, just like coconut oil is. But the bottom part is like jet fuel for your brain. And so what I found out after listening to Dr. Amen is that when I was drinking caffeine, the caffeine would borrow energy from my body and then kind of like give me this energy rush, but you got to pay off what you borrow, right? Well, then what I found out was that when I used MCT oil instead, is that MCT oil is a form of fuel for my body. So instead of borrowing from my body, I was giving to my body. It's like putting gas in my car instead of trying to borrow. So, after a point, it just doesn't work very good. And so the MCT oil kind of gave me the same feeling as drinking caffeinated coffee, except I was no longer borrowing. I was giving my brain like this really good fat. So I tried the traditional bulletproof coffee, which is also butter, but it tastes like, when you're thinking about it, it tastes like eating buttered popcorn and drinking coffee at the same time, and I just couldn't do it. And I had salted butter too, so it was like salted buttered popcorn with coffee. To me, those two just don't go along with each other. And sorry, the camera's a little shaky. I've got a nice breeze going on here. So what was next? All right, so instead I used to use a lot of whole milk. Before I used skim milk in my coffee. Then I used whole milk because I'm hearing everybody's like saying, "Oh, you should use the whole milk about all these reasons." There's always reasons for everything. Everybody's saying this is gonna kill you, or no, this is good for you. So I started using the whole milk. Well, I wasn't realizing there's all that sugar inside the milk, so the sugar was gonna be elevating, spiking my blood sugar, which was gonna be increasing my insulin. And so what I'm trying to do is decrease my insulin output, and I'm trying to decrease my sugar intake and my caffeine intake. And so what the caffeine was doing to me is that I didn't know, in addition to stealing energy from me, it also encourages the body to produce cortisol, and cortisol is a stress drug. So when your body thinks you're in stress, then it holds on to fat, and I was holding on to a lot of like excess belly fat. So my legs are like totally shredded up to the knee. But then after that, it starts getting more fat just keeps on going up. And I got this big old head too. And so when my nephew said that he wanted to get really fit for the track, that totally inspired me to start getting into like some of the best shape I've ever been in. I was in really good shape after I rode around the US for 2.5 years, but I mean, I didn't look like it. If I could say anything about myself, I'd say, if I looked at myself in the mirror, I'd say that guy eats a lot of processed food. Like right away, I could say that, because I could just see how inflamed and bloated I was. And that comes from just eating a lot of processed food and a lot of carbs too. It's like, all right, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna cut down the caffeine, just like I told you. Then I'm gonna start cutting down on the sugars. I'm gonna eat the sugar that I have, bread, tortillas. I totally have a sweet tooth for donuts and muffins. Used to be my total weakness. So I started slowly eating through those. I think I probably got through the tortillas first. Well, once I got through the tortillas, it's like, that's it, no more tortillas. Then I got through the bread, that's it, no more bread. Then I got through the cookies gone. Muffins, get rid of the muffins. Donuts, get rid of the donuts, eat through them. And so you see each almost every day, something was getting totally consumed. But it was also the next day, I didn't have that one thing in my diet. So pretty soon, within the first couple weeks, a ton of sugar was out of my diet, which meant a lot less production of insulin, which is affecting my whole body, right? Totally messing me up. And that's how the first week went. And so I tell you what, I started feeling the results immediately, because I had a lot more energy throughout the day. I was doing a lot less of the roller coaster effect with my diet. And for 30 years, I've been riding that roller coaster, and usually at like 3 o'clock, oh gosh, I'd feel horrible. And then around 5 o'clock, I would eat food, and then I would my energy would start to come up, but then my energy would just be just keep, and then it was hard for me to go to sleep, and I was staying up till 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, and then it'd be hard to wake up in the morning, and I wasn't getting enough sleep. There's this whole thing was just, system was just all messed up. But I was so busy doing the things I like to do that I was too busy to think about that. But now that I have this time, I'm fixing it all. So that's what happened in week 2 for me. If you have any questions, go ahead and write them down. Let them know if you're going through the same thing. Let me know how it went for you. All right? And check out the next video. The next video will be on cutting out some more sugar, and then the thought that I might need to test my blood. All right? I'll see you in the next one.